Hey, and we're back. We're going to try to make a little bit more progress on installing this carbon fiber sunroof panel in the E46 M3. So I went ahead and took the sunroof back out in order to prepare for the installation. My plan, at this point at least, is I think I'm going to drill one more hole on each corner of this panel. And then I'm going to run a bead of RTV Black around the edges, push it up, get it seated, bolt it down, and then I'll scrape off the material from the top. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and drill another hole in the top of the sunroof panel. It is carbon fiber. It's a little bit scary to do, but I've already got an approximate measurement of distance out from the edges here. And you can see I've already got a little bit of a hole on this one where I've started, or at least just made a little mark. So that hole there should allow the sunroof to sit nice and flush on the corner here. I went ahead and drilled two holes. You can see one right there. It's not really focusing very well, but there's a hole there that I drilled. And then there's another hole there that I drilled. I'm going to do two more, I think. The one that I showed you should be right around here. There's a little bit of a bar that runs right behind the sunroof, and you're drilling into that. And if you have a short screw, or I think you can reuse the other screws, just put a washer or two on there. It should be enough to put it up in there without hitting the top of the car. Oh boy. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and get the edge slightly over the side of the table here, so when it goes through, I'm not going to go into my the freezer. All right, get a little pressure straight down. Looks like it's going through pretty easily, and there we go, straight through. And I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just hold this up inside the car and make sure this hole is actually where I want it, and then I can mark the hole on the top of the car to drill up that way. There we go. So we might have to make this hole a little bit bigger, but for now we can at least make sure we've got the hole in the right place, and maybe we'll just use some smaller screws in the back here that we can kind of thread itself, that we can get them to thread it into that hole. All right, what's up guys? We're back. Today we're actually going to try to install the sunroof panel in the M3, and I got a helper, Dominic here. It's going to help us out. So we're going to lay a bead of RTV sealant around the corner of this thing and then lift it up. So Dominic's going to be on one side, I'm on the other. We're going to lift it up, get it in there hopefully evenly, and then thread some bolts in there and tighten it up, let it cure, and we should be all set. So step one, sunroof panel is out. We got our RTV Black. We're gonna lay that bead down, and then we'll be back to put it up into the car. All right, here we go. So it says instructions to just lay about a 1/4 inch thick bead. We're gonna do something similar to that, get going and kind of get a feel for it. So wow, okay, I gotta push a bit harder on this. God, I'm kind of hoping I have enough. I'm hoping this is enough to go all the way around it now that I start doing it. Gosh, I really hope I don't have to have two of these, because I only have one. Okay, so kind of learning the hard way on this. One, you probably want to wear gloves or something when you're putting down RTV. I didn't even think about this. My hands are a mess, so I'm trying to clean this stuff up before we lift the sunroof panel. God, look at my hands. Before we lift this thing into place. I'm also trying to do this quick because I don't want the RTV to dry much before we get it lifted up into place. The normal hand soap does not work, so I'm trying to rub this stuff off with a paper towel the best I can. Before I just say screw it and it's good enough to lift up in there. So I'm almost done. I'm going through some paper towels right now, and then we'll lift up. But Dominic, if you want to look down in here and just kind of show the bead what we've got, I would recommend buying 2 of those RTV Black bottles. I only bought 1, and I was barely able to make it all the way around. And then I just used my finger to make, to smooth it out a little bit. Hopefully it's thick enough that when we put it up into the panel, up into the hole, that it will, it'll fill the gaps. It's a pretty tight fit up there, so this should work. Fingers crossed. Okay, I think my hands are clean enough that we can start lifting it up. So onto that. All right, so if you can grab the other side of this.
Yep, slide on down.
I really hope this seals. Okay, so we got to watch the
wires.
The wires are going to kind of go up on top like this. Okay, so
you got a bolt.
I'm going to just get it up in one hand right now. Okay.
You don't want to push it up. You don't want to let it touch.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. We're going to try to lift it up straight as we can. Here, look from the top. Dominic, look from the top. We'll find the bull hole after we lift it up into place.
Oh, that's kind of what I was getting at there.
All right. This side's up, so I can just feel. I'm just feeling for a bolt hole on my side. Okay, so now that we got it in, I went around and cleaned out the top of the panel with the excess with a towel. Looking at it, I feel like there's some spots where I can clean it up, and I've got enough material left over. I'm just going to run a small bead on the top here and clean it up. So right here you can see there's some material in there, but there's a spot where it doesn't look like there's much. So I'm just going to lay a really thin bead over top of it right there, and well, something like that, and then rub it in. And then right after I rub it in, I'm going to take the towel and wipe it off. And as long as you do it before it starts to dry, it comes off pretty easily. You may want to clean up the paint around it before you do this, but I didn't. A little too late for that now. So I'm just going to do that same little bit of bead where I can. Get down in there. And then go back and clean it off. All right, guys, we are back, and I think I'm going to call this a wrap. You can see that, one, I'm out of RTV sealant, so I'm pretty much done in that regard. But I did manage to go around the top of it with what was left of the RTV, and it's pretty clean all the way around. After it dries a bit more, I'm going to try to clean up a little bit of the material around the sunroof on the carbon fiber panel and on the paint with some rubbing alcohol to clean that up. But otherwise, I'm thinking that it turned out pretty good. So what do you guys think? I'm trying to get some close-up shots here so you guys can see just how it looks. You know, from back here, it's very much like a sunroof. It just happens to be carbon fiber. So yeah, I'm happy with it. Saved a shit ton of weight. You know, and everybody knows that a shit ton is exactly 72 pounds minus 3.5 pounds. So a shit ton today is 69 pounds that we saved off the top of my E46 M3. So big shout out to Dominic, who helped me out. Couldn't have done this by myself. Tip for anybody that's doing this: wear some gloves and buy 2 containers of that RTV, which I've got somewhere. Anyway, buy 2 containers of it, have a friend help you out, and you should be all set. So we're good. We're going to call this a wrap for today. We will see you guys later.